Good evening. It is once again like 10:30 at night, and I am up burning a bit of the midnight oil, trying to really grasp where to go further on the end of part two. Because right now I'm looking at a lot of segments of the industry that we haven't necessarily touched or covered, and how we might actually be able to map that and incorporate it into the practices going forward. Because the next part, after we kind of visit how the ocean industries really impact the world from an economy point of view, then we get kind of into the interesting question of all of the people that are involved in the industry. And I hadn't mapped them yet here when I was trying to kind of draw out in my notebook parts of the industry and how they might affect each other, and how they have different people working in every single one of these segments and supporting all of the segments. And there's a lot of interconnectedness that's not shown here. And I'd use that to kind of look at the Venn diagrams, which I've talked to a few of the guests about. And the real question is going to be, how do we navigate this complexity? And this is only a partial map. I'm still missing so much here that I either haven't thought of or haven't mapped. And each one of these little squares has so much richness of information in it that we'll need to kind of take into account as we think about how the industry works now and how we might change it for the better to be able to kind of fulfill the goals that we have, to be a sustainable industry and to be an inclusive industry, and to really move things forward. And I'm trying to think about how I'm going to evolve this map now going forward. I've been struggling with it for a couple hours this evening, and trying to think about how we're going to develop all of the personas that are representing the stakeholders and their needs going forward, so that we can use those in kind of the ideation practice later on. So as we go through conversations with the stakeholders, how might we, or how should we, or how could we map those needs for the industry? Some of those stakeholders are a bit simplistic, at least in my mind, versus other stakeholders, which might be much more complex from what they need in the industry, as sub-service providers, or where they intersect in these diagrams. And I'm not sure exactly how to do that, but I guess we'll practice and try and learn and fail, because a lot of these things are really complex and overlapping. And I don't know that there's necessarily one way to map this, or even a best way to map it. I don't know that people have necessarily attempted this before, so I guess we'll try it together. But I'm just trying to think of how to capture the different people working in the industry. So if you're here watching this, there's a good probability that you're involved in maritime in some way. And when you think about yourself and your role and the services that you provide, because in the end, we all provide a service either to someone internally within the ocean industries, or we're a provider of ocean industry services to another industry. And how would you simplify your role? What exactly is the user, customer, person that you're serving? What are their expectations? What are they trying to get out of what you do? And how are you able to provide that effectively to them? And I think that that's going to be the big question for the stakeholders, not only the kind of human rights perspective that we need to take to fulfill the SDGs, and also from a fairness perspective and a talent development perspective, but also what are they working to do and for who are they doing that work? Because everyone works for someone, everyone's someone's customer, and everyone is, someone's client. So I don't know, some things to think about tonight. It's day 26, so we're moving forward. Even if sometimes it feels like I'm marching through the mud, we have gone a long way and we still have quite a ways to go. I'm hoping to have some more people interviewed. Right now, I only have lined up next week a few, and I'm trying to kind of line up some in the next few days. Because of course, scheduling it on top of trying to make it work is a bit complicated, but it's good. So a couple hours on this today. I'm trying to really grasp the complexity and let it be complex. Because one thing that I don't want to do in this project is to oversimplify it and make it look like it's a simple problem, or make it look like the industry is quite simple, because in the end, while it may look simple to someone outside, sure, you put something on a ship and you move it from one side to the other, there's a lot of interplay and a lot of history and a lot of legal history and tradition that's tied up in here, that's tied up in these relationships between these services and stakeholders and the way things are, as well as regulatory and national barriers that are preventing things from really being improved, or from digitalization to taking hold. Because some countries want their papers in papers, and some places want it in triplicate, and some places wanted 5 copies, and some want it signed and not stamped, and others want it stamped and not signed. And other places, they want both stamps and signatures. So if you've been on a ship, you're very familiar with all of those. But yeah, it's not really that simple. And I am thinking that, this was very ambitious, but I think it's good because it's really stretching my capability here. I'm not necessarily a visual graphics person, although I've been doing a lot of it for this project. I think that, I have a lot of opportunities to grow here and to share here. And I hope that, you watching this are also growing and stretching alongside, because I think that it's going to take all of us being better to make the industry also better. Yeah, that's my thoughts for now. If you want to contribute to the project, please reach out and we'll see where we get to. I have almost putting it away for tonight, but there's a lot more to do over the coming days. Talk soon.